Hello viewers, welcome to part 7 of the Smart Mobility Revolution. My name is Kevin Borras and joined by Bob McQueen, Smart Mobility expert. Bob, along with two colleagues of his in the UAE, is writing a book called the Smart Mobility Revolution, but it's not a book, it's more than just that. It's what's now called a body of knowledge that incorporates audio, video and printed content. Printed content is now referred to as evergreen content in the changing world of publishing. So, Bob, we've discussed many topics so far. This one is interesting. This we're talking about, not saying the others weren't interesting, more interesting, but we're talking about the values and benefits of smart mobility. So how can you boil all that down? There's an awful lot of value and an awful lot of benefit. How can you boil that down into one chapter in what is traditionally a book? What are you sort of covering, and what are you hoping that the readers get out of it in order to sort of transfer what they learn into the real world?
Well, it could just be a big chapter,
Yes,
but I think we need to fit within a reasonable length. So the main thrust of this is understanding values and benefits, which is a lot about outcomes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what is it that you expect to achieve? And there are hundreds of key performance indicators for smart mobility, for transportation, for performance management. But our belief is they can be summed up under 4 big headings: safety, efficiency, enhanced user experience, and environmental. It used to be I didn't call out environmental separately. We embedded it under efficiency because good use of the environment should be efficiency. But environmental impacts have become so important. Managing the carbon footprint of transportation and mobility has become so important that we've called it out as one of the 4 big categories. And we're going to roll everything up under that. What do we mean by safety? We mean saving lives.
Mm-hmm.
We mean reducing injuries, and we mean saving the money that you would that would cost you for damage-only accidents. And according to NHTSA, for example, if we have automated vehicles operational, 80% of crashes could be avoided. And recent research from Waymo on simulating the impact of automated vehicles kind of verifies that as well. What do we mean by efficiency? It's obviously about reducing delay, reducing congestion. I think from a user point of view, from a people point of view, it's reducing the number of stops as you go through signalized networks. And it's also having more predictable travel times, because one of the big elements of efficiency is if I think my 20-minute journey is going to take 40 minutes, then I've got to build in an extra 20 minutes. If I could get rid of that buffer, that would be really cool. User experience, am I getting a smooth interchange between modes? Am I able to predict my journey? Am I able to save travel time? And am I able to be happy because of that? I often find it interesting when we talk about saving travel time, Kevin, because it makes me wonder, because I have a strange sense of humor. Are people actually using the time they save to do something useful? Or are they just frittering it away on something else?
That's a good point. I remember one, again, I won't name him, but a colleague I used to have in the States who used to travel to work by train rather than drive, so he could work on the train.
Yeah.
But rather than leave earlier and drive, have the comfort of driving and get there, but he preferred working on the train to getting to the office, working early. I guess that people's attitudes to work changes, especially over the last year of working at home. My question in terms of benefits is the people that we need to convince that smart mobility is a fantastic asset is the people who are going to use it. So how do we convince them of the benefits of smart mobility? And simply, is it marketing campaign? Is it sort of user experiences, workshops, or articles in national newspapers or websites or whatever, rather than sort of the old way of doing it, of letting them find out by themselves?
Yeah. Well, ideally, we can go one better than people finding out by themselves. Although I noticed that the approach to user manuals these days is, just press buttons and see what happens. And we focus on telling you how to complete tasks rather than giving you a big upfront explanation about why it's important. I think that kind of style of knowledge to the user is probably the best way to go. For example, if I've decided I'm going to use micromobility, I'm going to get my large Scottish frame onto an electric scooter, then just before I approach the scooter, I would want information about, how do I turn it on? How do I pay for it? Where can I leave it? And, any tips or tricks. A few years ago, a Norwegian colleague of mine at the top of a hill, a snow-covered hill, said to me, "Here, have a go on this sledge, this sleigh." He called it a kick. I'm halfway down the hill, hurtling at ever-increasing speed, reaching terminal velocity, and then I realized, hey, you didn't tell me how to stop this thing. And of course, it ended up with me going one way and the kick going the other. And it's kind of gone into Norwegian folklore, that whole episode. But for me, it was a good reminder of there are things you should know before you go.
Yes. In terms, I'm not a small person either. So in terms of using a scooter, weight distribution, where should I stand? Where should I put my feet to get the best performance? That kind of thing.
Yep. And if I'm going to the supermarket to pick up groceries, then how do I deal with that? Am I going to hang them over the handlebars, or am I going to put it in front of me, or put it behind me?
Yeah.
What's the best thing to do, or should I do that at all? Right.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Kevin, maybe 7 or 8 years old, I really liked riding my bicycle, and my mother knew that, so she sent me to the store to get a pint of milk. And these are the days when milk came in glass bottles and were returnable.
Yep.
She also gave me a string bag. And of course, I was a bit of a novice, so I put the milk in the string bag, and then the neck of the bottle poked out and it went through the spokes of my bicycle. And needless to say, I had an unplanned excursion and some spontaneous travel over the handlebars.
Yes.
So again, knowing how to use it and being safe about it. Micromobility is also about being careful where you leave the vehicle. Don't leave it so that someone can trip over it. And then I think you should be wearing a safety helmet because of the speeds that you can achieve on these things.
Yeah, no, you're right. So what are we going to be talking about in episode 8, Bob?
Episode 8, that's a good question. I think we should probably talk about progress that's been made around the world on smart mobility, and talk about what has been done and what still needs to be done. We
can compare continents, can't we?
There we go.
That'll be fine. In which we will include the UK and Europe, but specifically just for this purpose. We're not going to get involved in politics. Anyway, we'll do that. Excellent. Right, Bob, thank you for that. Hope you're getting something out of these chapters. The body of knowledge written by Bob and Shafir and Samar are going to be ready by the end of the year, we believe. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Excellent. Well, that's great, Bob. Thanks for that. Look out for further videos from us shortly, and we talk about the smart mobility revolution. Thank you.
Wonderful.